Kim Gordon has been at the forefront of music and alternative culture for over 30 years, as a member of Sonic Youth, as a visual artist, and also as a fashion designer behind the label X-Girl, among other things. Now she can add author to her considerable CV. She joined me to talk about her new memoir, Girl in a Band. Kim, thank you so much for talking to us. So Girl in a Band is a memoir, and it seems to me that looking back is a sort of interesting position for somebody to occupy who has for such a long time occupied the cutting edge and been pushing things forward and always, you know, working on something new. Is it something that comes naturally to you looking back?
I suppose a certain amount of mulling things over comes naturally.
Yeah. Are you a brooder, do you mean?
Yeah, I can be somewhat of a brooder.
Okay. Do you kind of feel like you've come full circle a little bit? Because, of course, you know, you're now working as a visual artist and spending a lot more time in LA again, you know, having moved back to the West Coast at least part of the year.
Yeah, definitely feel like I've come full circle. That was a surprising ending to the book. It just so happened I went out there to work on the book, and then this show came together in LA that I was doing through the Gagosian Gallery, and so it was kind of funny.
I think you said that you know, you were always going to be an artist, and the music sort of started to happen semi-accidentally.
Yeah.
How did it occur? What was it that drew you to music?
I think that to a certain extent, you know, punk rock kind of was almost like an intervention in the culture, or, you know, something that opened it up, the way things opened up in the 60s, and you know, drew attention to consumerism and all that. And so I think that it kind of brought a lot of people into music that wouldn't necessarily have thought that they could be in a band or anything. And anyway, so we did this performance, and then I somehow, the girl we were playing with, the drummer, Christine Hahn, left to go play with Malaria, and Miranda and I never really found other people to play with, but she introduced me to Thurston, and then we started playing music together.
I think you've said that, you know, you have this kind of long-term fascination with the dynamics between musicians and also between musicians and the audience, and that seems to me to be a very kind of, you know, an artist's point of view on the whole thing, really. Is that something that's evolved over time, and you've played with those roles and changed your perspective? Yeah,
I'm still interested in that. And yeah, just the power that the audience has, actually, and even, I don't know, like even being a fan and going up to someone saying, I really like your work or something. I don't know, it's kind of like a, I always feel like they have more power at that point than I do.
If you admit that you like somebody's stuff?
No, if they say that to me. Like, I find it very, I don't know, I find it weird to go up to somebody and say, I really admire your work, or I like your work. It actually empowers you as a fan to say that in a way that's kind of interesting.
Because they can't then smack you down.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
Without being an official bad person.
Yeah, I guess so.
So have you ever done it to anyone? I mean, you toured with Neil Young. You made chicken wings for Neil Young. That's in the book.
Well, once I said to Paris Hilton I liked her work.
How did she respond?
She said thank you, but she didn't even look at me. She was like, it was at a cocktail party.
She probably gets it a lot, though.
Yeah, probably. But I did it just to see how it felt to say that.
And?
It was funny.
I quite like the idea that you've waited for Paris, like all the people that you've worked with over the years. But it was Paris that got that out of you.
Yeah.
Well, she can add that to our list of achievements.
Well, it was interesting.
Who were your heroes growing up?
I guess, you know, people like Janis Joplin, maybe Joni Mitchell, and you know, as well as Bob Dylan, and you know, and then later it was like people like the Slits. I looked up to them, and the Raincoats, and Susie Sue.
A pretty good selection of heroes.
Yeah.
Some good source material you've got going on there.
The Runaways.
Yeah.
Not that they were They're kind of a ridiculous role model, I guess. But they were so cool.
What was ridiculous about the runway? Was it just the
well,
lingerie?
the runways, because they were, they were, sort of a fabrication of Kim Fowley. Although they were a kick-ass band.
Kim, the book is very frank. Was writing it partly because you wanted to open up? Was that part of your motivation for writing the book?
Well, I think writing is really different than talking, for one thing. And there is also a certain performative aspect to it. So I could, I don't know, I just felt like whatever I do creatively, I want it to matter and to be strong. And I think it wasn't just doing it to up my brand or something like that. So I did, this is what you're supposed to do. You're just supposed to bare your soul.
I think you say in the book that the end of your relationship was kind of conventional, and it made me think about the way that I suppose a lot of those big universal experiences, when it comes down to it, it's hard to have a unique one, right? A death, a birth, grief of any kind. It is just a universal experience. So by its nature, it's kind of conventional. Was that frustrating to you, that at the end of the day, it does we do come down to these kind of inescapable reality?
Well, it wasn't. Everyone thinks that their pain is special or something, but in the end, it isn't. And it happens to a lot of people, and I think that's one reason why I wanted to write about it. I think
that's one of the major things that people will connect with, because it's an experience a lot of people will have had. What got you through it?
My friends, mostly.
Yeah, just good support group. Okay. Anything else in case?
No, I mean my daughter. Have to be a role model to somebody, and I don't know. Also, I guess in just having creative outlets, playing music and things like that.
Are there going to be more books in your future? Would you like to write more?
I hadn't really thought of it. Maybe something fictional.
Cross our fingers for that, Kim. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
If you want to hear more from Kim Gordon, you can download the ebook or audiobook of Girl in a Band via the link below.